Mr. Mayor, could I have you introduce yourself briefly?
You bet. Jim Smith, candidate for mayor of Helena.
Okay, very good. And Mr. Mayor, what do you do for a living, or are you retired?
You know, I retired December 31st of 2016. I lobbied up at the Montana legislature for almost 40 years, but decided it was time to move on, so I'm a retired guy at the moment.
Okay, very good. And how long have you lived in Helena now?
You know, I got here in 1966 and attended Carroll College, graduating in 1970, and then lived up in the Flathead for a few years. But I moved back to Helena in 1978 and have been living here ever since.
Okay, very good. And how long now have you been in elected office?
You know, I was first elected to the Helena City Commission in 1999, started service in the year 2000, and then ran for mayor successfully in 2001, so began serving as mayor of Helena in the January of 2002.
Okay, very good. And so this would be the fourth or fifth time that you're running for?
I'm finishing my fourth term, running for my fifth.
Okay, very good. So, Mr. Mayor, why are you running for another term?
Well, I enjoy working for the people of Helena, Jonathan. I love the job. Helena is the greatest town in the world as far as I'm concerned, and the people here are fundamentally good. I think we've accomplished a lot together in the last 16 years, but there's lots left to be done, and I want to be part of the doing of it.
All right, very good. What do you see as the #1 issue facing the city going forward?
Well, you know, I've answered that question any number of times over the years, Jonathan. I think the first time I responded to that, I said the most important thing was to establish and create a civil dialogue among and between ourselves here in the city. And I've tried to do that, and I think we've been pretty successful at that. A few years later, I was asked the same question, and I think my response was, we're trying to meet the needs of a growing community while at the same time preserving Helena's unique quality of life. And we're still in the midst of that effort. We do have a growing community, and we're still trying to maintain what it is that makes Helena so special and so unique. In terms of immediate things, we're trying to expand the city into the west side, and the city is growing to the north. And I'd like to continue working on and complete those two projects, if possible, in the next 4 years.
Okay, very good. How satisfied are you with the level of services that the city has been providing? Do you think there's any room for improvement there?
Well, there's always room for improvement in just about anything we do. And we're sure open to good suggestions from other cities and our own constituents, our own citizens, and from all the people who serve on the various advisory boards. We're going to try to do a better job of plowing the snow off the streets this winter. We'd like to get more people signed up for the Helena recycling program. We do have a great deal of work to do with our physical infrastructure. All the pipes and connections that are underground that we never see are very old. A lot of them need replacement, and we need to be about that business in the next 4 years too. And we've got to do all that within the confines of our financial ability and keeping in mind the Helena taxpayer.
All right, very good. What do you see as your biggest accomplishment during your time as mayor?
Oh, goodness. I'm real pleased with the way that our parks and open space has evolved over the last 15 or 16 years. You know, when I started, Centennial Park was the city landfill, an old landfill. But working with everybody, the people of Helena voted to make a park out of it, and we've done that, and it's beautiful down there. There's nothing better than going down to Centennial Park on a Saturday and seeing the soccer games or the baseball games or people walking their dogs. So certainly our Parks and Rec has been a big priority of mine, and I think it's working out very well. You know, we had a number of parcels around town that were dedicated park land, but they weren't parks. We've taken the initiative and we've converted that park land into actual parks. And on a few of them, we've got community gardens going the last several years, and people are really taking to that, and there's a lot of produce being grown and good fresh food getting out to people right from our city parks. The other part of our parks and recreation effort is the trail system that surrounds this town. You know, we've obtained about 2,000 acres over the last 15 years of ground on our borders, Forest Service ground, Bureau of Land Management ground, and we've got a responsibility to that ground. We've put trails there, we've done our beetle mitigation, so our city parks and our surrounding open lands are in very good shape today, and that's something I'm really proud of and proud to have been a part of these last 15 years.
Is there anything that you haven't accomplished yet that you would like to try and work on in the next 4 years?
Well, I think there are some things. As I said, I'd like to grow our recycling program. Our goal was to have 1,000 people signed up for the recycling program, and I think we're at about 700 right now. So I'd like to promote that. You know, we're trying to expand our public transportation system in the Helena area, the city of Helena and the outlying area. And I think that's going to need additional work and commitment over the next 4 years. In addition to that, Jonathan, we're facing a lot of new regulatory requirements from state and federal agencies that we do business with. And that is presenting some challenges. We've got to submit our application for a new wastewater permit this month. And that wastewater facility out at the north end of town is very important. We've also got to obtain a permit for our stormwater system in this town and a permit for our water treatment plant out at the 10 Mile and at the Missouri River. And the requirements to operate these facilities are becoming more important to us all the time. So I think we've got to really work on the regulatory aspect of trying to provide city services over the next 4 years.
All right. What do you think that the Helena city government is currently doing well, and are there any things that you think it could be doing better?
Well, I think all of our departments are functioning very, very well. We've done a lot of work on the streets, for example, this summer, and you can see it if you drive around town. I think our streets department's done a great job. Great things are going on out at the transfer station with our solid waste program and our recycling program. Our Parks and Recreation department functions very well. Each department functions wonderfully, but I think what we've got to do is work hard to be sure that those departments themselves are coordinated. You know, you shouldn't have to go to 3 or 4 city departments in order to get a permit to do something on the walking mall. You shouldn't have to go to multiple city departments to remodel your home or to put up a new garage or a new roof on your house. So there's always room for improved and enhanced coordination between and among our departments, and that's a priority of mine and of the commission. So we're going to keep working on that.
Mm-hmm. From sort of a philosophical standpoint, what do you think the role of the Helena city government should be?
Well, I've tried to put it this way. One, to provide top quality, essential services to the people of Helena. 2, to resolve conflicts among them. And we do that every time we sit down at a city commission meeting. We do that every time the city court convenes. Thirdly, to build community among the people. And we do that in a number of ways too. And fourthly, I say we've got to do what the future requires us to do. And that means allocating funds for future needs and moving this city forward every day.
All right. I know that some of the candidates in this year's elections are running on sort of slates with other candidates running together on a sort of a shared platform. Are you running in conjunction with any other candidates, or are you running on your own?
No, just on my own.
Okay, very good. And then finally, what message do you want to leave voters with as they make their decision coming up this fall?
Well, I'd like voters to consider me as a good candidate for mayor. I've been around a long time. I guess I'm not exactly a fresh face. I've made a lot of mistakes and missteps over the years, but people seem to have been pretty forgiving and tolerant of those. I do think experience matters, and I've got a lot of experience with the city of Helena and its city government. I think I've got a good relationship with our city manager, our department directors, the other commissioners, and the larger community. And I'd like people to take that into account when they cast their ballots, and I hope I'm successful in my effort.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thanks for doing this.